Charles Robinson with Andrew Siciliano on his podcast. So interesting stuff. I mean, I think that it's the first time we've heard that the team was stunned by what Terry initially wanted, that it was top tier, maybe 35 million plus. That would put him, in Justin Jefferson, approaching Jamar Chase territory. As it moved along, it became kind of the DK Metcalf deal that Terry's side wanted. And the team all along was looking at receivers who have signed deals into their 30s. Tyreek Hill really is the outlier here because his deal is an average of $30 million per year, but he's not Tyreek Hill. Okay. Like Tyreek Hill's an outlier as a player, as maybe one of the most feared players of the last, 7, 8, 9 seasons. Is it now? Something like that, 8 seasons with the ball in his hands. Tyreek Hill did get basically in practical guarantees about $60 million on a $30 million per year, 3-year deal, $90 million in aggregate. So the team was looking more like Devontae Adams and some of the other, older receivers that have signed deals recently. Mike Evans, Mike Evans, who is 30 years old and a future Hall of Famer, his average annual is $21 million a year. So the team obviously had a vision of Terry's entering age 30. This isn't his first big deal at 26. That was a few years ago. This is the second big deal at 30. And the comps for that are out there. They are more, somewhere from Mike Evans to Devontae Adams to Tyreek Hill in that range. So the 23 to 24, 25 range for him. And he says 27 to 28, 50 to 60 guaranteed would be the middle ground. Neither side would be thrilled with it. And then that last comment was an interesting one, that people are going to find out that Adam Peters has an edge to him in negotiating, that he won't budge. Yeah. So that's where we are. Good Charles Robinson, longtime NFL guy. All right. Let's try to get through some of these calls. Is Terry McLaurin's contract saga, killing your excitement for the upcoming season? Samu's been on hold for a while. Samu, what's up?
Hey, Kevin.
How you doing?
Great stuff. I'm doing well, thank you. I do think you need to repeat it for Ian and Bob, first of all, and for everybody else who doesn't seem to get that he is under contract. But I like your comments about the new ownership, GM, coaches, and of course Jaden, what they've done for Terry, and really how much better his situation is. And if he were to go somewhere else next year or whenever, he's not going to do as well with another quarterback, because those teams that have the great quarterbacks don't have a whole lot of cap room, and they also generally have pretty darn good receivers already. But I will always be fired up about the team, and this year's teams in particular with all the talent. But my excitement at the prospect of them making a run is waning in a big way, and I blame it on Terry's agent. He's making it more and more likely with each passing day that Terry will have a slow start, and God forbid that he gets injured. So yeah, he is killing my buzz in a big way. And, as I've said, I love Terry, and, but we just, we can't stay great following last year if we squander the salary cap space. I mean, my suggestion, like if I was the GM, I would basically say like, look, and I like that he's kind of not budging a whole lot, but look, we'll pay you this much. And I would even say, as far as, I'll give you $29 million guaranteed for this year, which is way more than you're already scheduled to make under contract.
Yeah.
But just because we have the salary cap space this year, but then next 2 years go way down and have it be like, 22 million, and then just a large amount of bonuses. I mean, if he continues to have the year he had the next 2 years, I mean, I don't have a problem with them paying him 32 million, with, but that's a big if. And I do think they need the flexibility. And so I think having a much lower guaranteed amount for the subsequent years would be, would be sensible if that's
I think I agree with almost everything you said, with one exception. When you said, he won't have the same level of success if he's away from Jaden, I do agree with sort of the overall team success. But he did prove with like 12 to 13 pretty bad quarterbacks that he could produce basically at the level that he produced last year. Roughly 80 catches plus or minus 2, 1,000 to 1,100 yards. The touchdown count was much higher, obviously. The 13.4 average yards. He's much better off being here. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I think the results might, with a bad team and a bad quarterback, actually might look similar to what he did the first 5 years of his career, or 6 years of his career, whatever it was.
I agree with your correction on that. But I will say also that if you recall last year, he started very slow. Like he wasn't in sync with Jaden the first 3-4 games. So presuming he gets his butt into camp, soon,
he could have a much bigger year if he doesn't start slowly.
Away, and he can have a much bigger year. And
look, at the end of the year, he had one reception in the playoff clinching game against Atlanta for 5 yards, and had 3 catches in the Philly game, championship game. Look, his presence on the field is helpful to everybody else, but it's not like teams focus on him and double him and try to take him out of every game. He's not that kind of guy. Samu, thanks, as always. Let's go to Mark in Largo. Mark, go ahead.
Kevin.
Mark, what's up?
Boy, you are lost. Okay, Kevin, let's say we do it your way. Let's say he's under contract. Guess who's not under contract at the end of this year, Kevin? Deebo Samuel. So I'm going to throw out a parody of what could happen. Okay, Kevin? And I want you to think about what I'm about to say here. Terry has 90 catches, 1,400 yards. Deebo has 98 catches, 1,700 yards.
Now you're talking about these are good problems. These are good problems, Mark.
Love to interrupt.
Oh,
go ahead, Kevin.
Okay. Whatever you say, it's your show.
Thank you. It's my time now, bro. So, in essence, what I'm trying to say is this. You have Deebo that's not under contract at the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
You have Terry that's not under contract at the end of this year.
They're playing on the franchise tag on
contract, right?
Yeah.
They're playing on the last year's contract. Oh, and by the way, they do win the Super Bowl because Jaden's going to be the new face of the league.
Right.
They win the Super Bowl in 25. They win the Super Bowl in 26. So anyway.
Get to it, Mark.
Guess who else is going to want another contract extension? Laramie Tunsil. Why? Because Laramie Tunsil's going to think I am the best left tackle in the league. And he may pull a Terry next year.
How about Frankie Louvu? How about after Marshawn Lattimore has 10 picks?
So you got all that stuff. Now, hold up.
These are the issues Super Bowl champions have.
Because all this stuff, you got all these guys that want money.
Yeah.
Okay? All of them.
Yeah.
Now, all what Cincinnati did. You saw exactly what Cincinnati did. They had to pay both of their receivers, and they said, "The hell with the defense. We don't care about the defense. We ain't gonna do anything about
Mark,
the defense."
I don't even think you realize what you're doing.
What am I
You're
doing?
actually making a case that goes against your initial case. The reason they don't want to overpay Terry now is for the very scenario you just painted, that they got to pay all these people next offseason.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but
here's the problem,
you
Kevin.
didn't get to what your lead was, which is, oh my God, who are we going to use the franchise tag on, Terry or Deebo? I would call that a please. I want to have that problem situation. Let me move on. Let's go to Jason. Let's go to Jason and Laurel. I got to get some of these people in before we get Mike Jones on. Jason and Laurel, go ahead.
Hey, Kev. Love the show. I tell you, to answer your question, the Terry situation is not giving me any anxiety or hard time at all. But some of your callers and some hosts, not you, of course, definitely are. I don't know what's wrong with everybody. 2 years ago, the Wicked Witch of the West died, and we got a new ownership group, and he did maybe the smartest thing in the world. He didn't do anything, which everybody had a problem with that. And we got a good enough record that we were able to draft Jaden Daniels because we didn't do anything and just build draft capital. Then he hires AP, who wouldn't even interview with other teams. That begets his DQ, who, again, the fan base was not happy about, who makes an amazing coaching staff that he's kept, by the way. Then we draft JD5 and go to the freaking NFC Championship game, and people are freaking out. Are you kidding me? We were such an intense
I'm with
show.
you. This is not killing my buzz at all.
Yeah.
Not mine at all. Last year at this time, I had to argue with the people that thought they should have kept Sam Howell and drafted around him.
Yeah.
I had to argue with the people that said that Dan Quinn was the 9th choice. And how did they end up with their 9th choice? So this too shall pass. But to your point, I'd much rather have this, a holdout, a polarizing contractual impasse off of a championship year with an elite quarterback coming back for year 2 than what we had for all those other years. It's frustrating. It's concerning. It's not killing my vibe at all.